The blade pulsed against Conan's grip, no longer his weapon, but a hunting hound straining at the leash. Fire and ice coalesced along its dual edges, gathering, building. Then it struck. Twin projectiles erupted from the blade's surface, one blazing crimson, one frost white, screaming through the air like meteors. They buried themselves deep in Yog-Thul's shifting chest, anchoring into whatever passed for the demon god's core. Chains materialized between blade and demon, not metal, pure energy, crackling with the same fire and ice discord. They snapped taut, thrumming with tension. The blade pulled. Conan felt himself yanked forward, boots tearing furrows in scorched earth. Not him dragging the demon, the weapon hauling itself toward its prey, using his body as ballast. He didn't fight it. He became it, adding his momentum to the blade's hunger. Yog-Thul, clawing at the anchors embedded in its flesh. Where it touched the chains, its substance unraveled, fire cauterizing, ice crystallizing, the demon's reality breaking down, molecule by molecule. The gap closed. 15 feet. 10. 5. Conan's volcanic eyes blazed with savage purpose. The blade sings its killing song. More Conan fought with the fury of a man righting his wrong. Each strike carried the weight of his guilt transformed to purpose. His warrior's instincts found the demon's patterns, while the blade unmade what it touched.
Wait! I can grant you anything.
I already have what I need, Conan growled, driving the blade deep into Yog-Thul's heart. The strength to mend what I have sundered. Fire and ice erupted from the wound while shadow poured inward, devouring. The demon god screamed as it unraveled, each second an eternity of dissolution. Eshnia Babarat, Yog-Thul shrieked as it died, the name both curse and confession. The Unmaker walks. The seal breaker becomes the seal. When it ended, only scorched earth remained. Conan stood in the devastation, the blade humming with satisfaction. But he felt no triumph, only the weight of understanding. He'd killed this horror, but how many more waited beyond the weakened veil? How many would slip through because he'd wanted to show the gods he had the strength to challenge their will? Yasmela stirred, looking at him with awe.
You killed a god.
I killed what I let in, Conan said grimly, helping her stand. one of many, I fear. As they began the journey west, Yasmela's eyes kept returning to the weapon across his back. Finally, she spoke.
Eshnia Barbarad. The demon screamed its true name as it died.
Conan grunted, adjusting the blade's weight. Tell me something, princess, Conan said suddenly, his eyes scanning the horizon with predator's wariness. How does a Kurani royal end up in a mercenary's cage, bound for a demon's altar?
I was traveling to the temple of Mitra at Shushan. My god.
Ambushed? Conan's voice held no sympathy, only calculation.
Yes, but it was strange.
Her brow furrowed.
The raiders knew exactly where to strike. Exactly when my guard would be divided at the river crossing. And Valerius, he appeared so quickly after, offering to rescue me for a price my surviving captain couldn't refuse.
Conan's laugh was harsh. No ambush, then. Theater. Zaltis needed royal blood, your blood specifically. Easier to let others do the kidnapping and take delivery later.
But how could he know?
Sorcerers have their ways. Scrying pools, demon whispers, paid eyes in every court. The Sumerian spat. You were marked from the moment you left your father's walls. Yasmela paled, but her spine straightened.
Then I owe you more than just my life.
You owe me nothing. Conan's tone brooked no argument. I came for the sorcerer, not you. That you live is fortunate.
Do you know what you carry, Sumerian?
I know what it does, Conan growled, his stride never faltering. Burns with one edge, freezes with the other, turns my enemies to nothing. Good enough for a barbarian's purpose.
Demon forged?
Yasmela's laugh was sharp.
You carry creation's own edge and call it demon work.
Conan's eyes narrowed, but he said nothing.
My father has gold,
she said, changing tactics with the wisdom of royal blood.
Kauran's treasury runs deep. A mercenary deserves payment for saving a princess.
Gold. Conan's voice was flat, empty of its usual mercenary hunger. He stared at the horizon where heat shimmer made the world uncertain. What good is gold if there's no world left to spend it in? Yasmela's smile faltered. 3 moons I've carried this blade. 3 moons of watching things press against reality's skin, testing for weakness. His His hand drifted to the weapon's hilt. I've seen enough to know. What's coming makes Acheron's worst days look like a tavern brawl.
Then all the more reason to...
Your father's gold won't buy safety from what walks the thinning places. But answers might. If Kashtrim's bloodline guarded secrets since the Hyborian conquest, maybe those secrets are worth more than coin.
You would come to Khauran for knowledge, not gold.
Conan spat into the dust. Girl, we're still far from any safe haven. Let the road bring what it will. The wind rose, scouring ancient stones. Somewhere beyond the veil, things stirred with renewed hunger, testing the boundaries he had weakened. They walked on in silence, two figures against the vastness of the waste. For what else could a barbarian do, having unleashed hell itself, but stand between it and the world with nothing but steel and stubborn will? After all, a man must answer for what he has wrought, especially when his deed might birth the world's doom. 2 days of hard desert crossing had left them both sun-scorched and silent. They'd sheltered the previous night in a shallow cavern, Conan taking his watch at the entrance while the princess slept with what dignity the wasteland allowed. Now, with the sun climbing higher and turning the land into a crucible of heat and glare, Yasmela's hand shot up, pointing east.
Riders!
Conan's eyes narrowed against the shimmer of heat haze. Not the scattered silhouettes of desert raiders, but disciplined formation. A convoy moving with purpose through terrain that should have broken lesser men. As they drew closer, the royal serpent of Khauran became visible on their standards, snapping in the furnace wind. Your father moves swiftly, Conan observed.
He would tear the desert apart, stone by stone, for me.
Pride and something else, wariness perhaps, colored her voice. The convoy commander rode ahead of his men, dismounting with the fluid grace of one born to the saddle. He was younger than Conan expected, perhaps 23 summers, lean and wiry with the build of one born to horse and blade. His hair, an unusual rusty auburn with copper highlights, was pulled into a high top knot. What struck Conan was not the man's appearance, but the quality of his gaze. Dark brown eyes that held the same unsettling calm Conan had seen in his own reflection after claiming the blade. The fortitude of something that had looked into the abyss and not blinked. Princess Yasmela. The man's bow was precise, respectful but not servile. His accent carried unfamiliar cadences, something ancient beneath the court Khaurani. Your father tasked me with bringing you home alive. I see another has already accomplished this. He turned to Conan, There was no challenge in his stance, no territorial posturing of lesser men, only recognition, as if seeing something he'd expected but never quite believed he'd encounter. Conan of Cimmeria. Not a question. May I see the Eshnia Babarat? A pause, weighted with genuine deference. With your permission, of course. The world seemed to still. Conan's expression remained iron, that something flickered behind his volcanic eyes. Only 3 knew that name. The demon god had screamed it as it died, and he'd spoken it to no one since. Yet this lean warrior spoke it like a scholar names a known theorem. You know the blade's name. Conan's voice was soft, dangerous. And now you wish to touch the Unmaker. I wish to confirm what I suspect. The younger man's shoulders relaxed, his body language shifting into something approaching reverence. I've spent years learning to read the patterns. This. He gestured, encompassing the scorched earth, the lingering wrongness in the air where Yog-Thul had died. This is a scar across multiple layers of reality. Only one weapon in this age could cut so deep. Conan studied him. No madness in those eyes, no hunger. Only the patient intensity of a man who'd made calculation his religion. Slowly, deliberately, Conan drew the blade of Duma. Fire and ice sang their eternal discord along its edge, painting impossible colors across the desert floor. He reversed his grip, extending the hilt outward. The young warrior, Yasmela, had murmured the name Chekim to one of her guards, approached with the careful reverence of a man handling a sleeping serpent. His fingers closed around the leather-wrapped hilt. The blade purred.